This is Mike from Dimensional Walking, and today I want to talk about I would say the top 10 paranormal things that humans fear the most. Okay? So, there's really no, I would say, scientific data to determine which is number one, which is number five, which is number 10. But through anecdotal, information, surveys I checked out, and other research I did, I kind of put together a list of 10. And we'll kind of go through each one of them. And you may disagree or agree or etc. And you may have some interesting comments about one or all of these things that people fear. So number one is probably, as you guessed it, is ghosts. So ghosts are probably the most common fear of all. They probably because they're spirits of the dead. And, there's these spirits are said to haunt places such as people's homes, places that people have worked at. Some people, of course, believe that ghosts are pretty harmless, and others believe they're dangerous and even malevolent. And one of the things, I guess, why they're kind of at the top of the list is because this is kind of a personal thing. There's people's relatives who sometimes they see kind of haunting a house or haunting a place of work. And I think that's one of the reasons. And it's kind of taken off in popular culture that, they can be dangerous kind of entities. And this, of course, has kind of brought ghosts up to the very top. The next one I think we'll put right up there with ghosts, or very close to the top, would be demons. Okay? Demons are kind of like ghosts, but they're seen as these evil spirits that can possess people and harm them. Unlike ghosts who don't necessarily possess people, but demons seem to. And they're also associated with, fire, brimstone. They're also, symbols of hell itself. And, they're a common fear because they have this, they can do this possession. This possession is really the thing that gets people really crazy about them. And it's quite terrifying, I guess, and especially to religious people. And again, additionally, the popular culture has made demons very powerful. And that makes the danger even more profound and contributes to the fear that humans have of demons. Next, aliens. One of my favorites. And of course, it's another common paranormal fear. And I think it's somewhat universal. And of course, people do concern themselves with people that at least have some awareness that aliens seem to and probably do abduct people. And of course, once you get that in your mind or in your head, sometimes it'd be very difficult to go to sleep, since most of the abductions seem to happen at night. So that's one of the reasons aliens are right up to the top of the list. And also with aliens, there's also something that may be slightly different. It's called extraterrestrial life. And that alone makes people, that's number 4, that alone makes people nervous because extraterrestrial means, obviously, that it comes from off Earth, and that brings that tremendous unknown feeling. And that is also one of the things that make people nervous, anxious, afraid of the paranormal, and that would be the extraterrestrial. Something completely different, something we don't understand, something we don't know completely. So that in itself, being fascinating, extraterrestrial life, I think is fascinating, but at the same time, for many people, it's also quite terrifying. So then we come to another one that is familiar with everybody, is witches. Witches are seen, many witches are seen as women, although, there's a lot of witches, or warlocks, I guess we'll call them, that are men. And of course, they have these magical powers, and many times they're associated with evil, even though, a lot of people say there's good witches and there's bad witches. And of course, some of the other things are associated with potions and broomsticks and black cats. Um, some people believe, of course, that witches are very real. Other people believe that they're simple characters from the fairy tales. I personally have met warlocks and witches, and in many ways they're not that scary. Okay, many of them were very human in very many ways, and I guess you always did know what kind of tricks they were going to pull on you, so that made them slightly terrifying, at least in my encounters with witches and warlocks, actually. Then we got werewolves. Werewolves are said to be associated with wolves. They are associated with the full moon, and they are very dangerous and bloodthirsty. At least that's the way some people feel about it. Some believe that werewolves are real, and others believe they're simply mythological creatures. I personally don't quite believe in the whole werewolf thing, but I do believe in dogmen, and I think dogmen are very similar to werewolves in many ways, and I do know dogmen exist. So, vampires are next on the list. That's number 7. So, vampires, of course, are undead creatures that drink human blood. They are often associated with bats, garlic, and coffins. Some people believe vampires are real, and others believe they're simply characters of fiction. Okay? I'm not really too sure about vampires that drink blood, but I do really feel pretty strongly there is such a thing as vampires that I call energy vampires, that are kind of humans that have turned in such a way that they kind of suck the energy from humans. And I've run across several of those in my many years of research on the paranormal. Human vampire energy suckers, as I used to call them, or still do call them, actually. So, next is zombies. Yes, zombies. Zombies are said to be reanimated corpses that are driven by hunger for human flesh. They are associated with the apocalypse, and they are said to be very dangerous. Some people, of course, believe they're real, and others believe they're just simply creatures of horror movies. I think humans can act like zombies in many ways. I don't think they're reanimated corpses, but I think humans can, go on drugs, certain types of drugs, and they can act very zombie-ish. And I think there's people in the military, soldiers, that if they were taking certain types of drugs, they could become zombie types, and they could just go out there and not care at all about getting killed, but they will act very kamikaze-like and try to get their enemies. So I think this has happened, and there's been articles just recently in different countries like Ukraine, where some of the Russian military seem to be zombie-like. Poltergeists. They are said to be a mischievous spirit that can cause objects to move around, make noises, and even harm humans. They are associated with haunted houses and are often very disruptive. Some people believe that poltergeists are real, but others believe they're simply psychological phenomena. Anyways, often these creatures that we just talked about are depicted as being dangerous and harmful and can be sources of great fear for humans. Now, there's one more, and that's curses. Curses are often said to be spells that can bring misfortune or bad luck to people or objects. They are often associated with witchcraft, and they are said to be very powerful, and some people believe curses are real, while others, of course, believe that they're simply superstitions. And curses are basically the least, they're actually number 10 on my list, because I guess they're less tangible. They're less dangerous than the other paranormal phenomena. And additionally, curses are not often depicted in popular culture as other paranormal is. So they're probably the least of the list. Even though if you feel you've gotten a curse, If you've been cursed and you believe in it, it can be very powerful. Okay? It can be very, very powerful. So there are many reasons why people are fearful of the paranormal things. Some people have personal experiences that led them to believe in the paranormal, while others simply are afraid of the unknown. And I think for the most part, that's the key, the unknown. I think if people try to understand and come to grips with this unknown paranormal, for the most part, their fear drops off considerably. And that's sort of what I and Rainbow have done in the past. When people are encountered paranormal, curses or whatever, if we just sit down and talk them through it, for the most part, a lot of that fear does go away. So, with all that said, send us comments, send us criticisms, send us whatever you want, and we'll try to answer them all. So, anyways, with that said, we'll see you. Bye-bye.